Hey YouTube, I'm back. Welcome to my channel, Stephanie's World. I'm Stephanie, and I hope you're doing well on this 4th of July. I am not in no celebratory mood on today. Mine is more of a Frederick Douglass. What is a slave to the 4th of July? So there's no fireworks and no red, white, and blue here. But I hope you are well in whatever you are doing on today. Had to step away for a minute. Couldn't do the last recap and spoilers for P-Valley because I have just recently got over COVID. Yeah. So now I'm getting ready to recap episode 205, which was titled White Nights. I may not get everything out in this particular video. I'll have to come back because I'm very new to this game and YouTube is not giving me a bunch of time. So let's jump in to it. It's very few shows out there that keep getting better week after week, but P-Valley is one of those shows. Actually, I was at the Pank when the club opened the other night at midnight, and it starts off in the A. It's Miss Mississippi's big night, and she's there, and of course Rome is there. He's telling her that he just secured her a deal for a wig line. They have the wigs there, and they're all colors, all styles, and he picks the blonde. And she tells him that I don't think the blonde is gonna go with my skin tone. And he was pretty much like, everything goes with her skin tone. He also decides to dump on her at that time that the Dirty Dozen tour has been extended for another 2 weeks. And she was like, Rome. And he was like, oh, I already cleared it with your Justin Bieber. And she was like, but that wasn't the deal. And she needed to go home. She has very young children. He tells her, what you gonna do is go get this money. It gave me all of pimp vibes because you know this girl's situation. You know that she has kids at home, but he all about the money. He is all about the money and himself. And this leads into her backstory. And this particular episode is all about her. So you get to see how she became Miss Mississippi, what led up, some of the choices she made. And it was brilliant. Uncle Clifford narrated, and it was everything. People had gotten caught up trying to save her. People have been trying to save her for years once she got into what she was into. And Uncle Clifford said it best. A bitch ain't ready to be saved until she ready. And that's true. That is true. As victim and survivor of domestic violence, I got to the point where I stopped the false alarms. I'm leaving. I shut down and shut up because I didn't want to involve anybody else until I truly, truly, truly had enough. That's when I made the decision to leave, and I left for good. I left for good. It was plenty of false starts. It was plenty. And he was saying she'll know when she's ready, when she's right, kind of like a plum. It is tense between Big Teak and Lil Murder. They in the club arguing, and it's tension. And it's been tension since that postcard because I don't think Lil Murder ever answered who Cliff was. And Rome comes over and have to reiterate, it's Miss Mississippi night. Murder's a little let down. I wouldn't even say salty. He's a little let down that he's not performing. He was like, I should be performing. Why couldn't you do that for me? And Ron was just like, no, it's Miss Mississippi night. That's what he said. And Jocelyn Hernandez comes out. Well, she swings out, and she gives homage to the legends that are there, which is Gigi McGuire, Jessica Dime, and I think it's Miami Tip. And she does a little something on the stage, and she brings Miss Mississippi out. And she puts on a performance out of this world. She is so skilled on that pole, and she looked beautiful. Everything was going well, and it was just a good night. After her performance, the legends talk to her, and then Jocelyn comes over. And in the narration, Jocelyn is like her fairy godmother because she's dropping knowledge on her, and she even wants to talk to her a little later about things. And she tells her, they always gonna think of you as a hoe. But Cardi B told us, a hoe is never cooked. Y'all have to excuse me, I gotta dab the sweat. I have to kill the fans in here. I told y'all the last time, it's kind of like, it's hard out here for a pimp, when he told him, kill them fans and hustle and force. So I have to kill the fans in here. You're going to hear a whole bunch of background noise, and we don't want that. So we also found out that legends aren't born, they are built. Keyshawn flashes to high school. Keyshawn transferred from another high school, and she tried to be a cheerleader. She couldn't hold it at the top of the pyramid, and she took a tumble. And in the sunlight, she can't see who's reaching down to help her up, and it was Derek. And Derek is a male cheerleader, so he's pretty much like the anchor, and he helps her up. Gidget met her in high school, so her and Gidget goes way back. And her stepsister, Alicia, tried out as well, and she held hers at the top of the pyramid. Keyshawn was picked at about her complexion. You have to excuse me. And some football players talked about she looked like a burnt chicken nugget, and she shouldn't be sitting in the sun too long. And Derek came to her rescue, so there he was showing up as her knight. And the football players spit on Derek, and he beat the crap out of him. He came to her defense, and he beat the crap out of that young man. And she ran into him again, but she didn't make the squad, and he complimented her. Keyshawn's Keyshawn's home life was not good. It was not good at home. Her stepmother hated her. Thank God her stepsisters wasn't evil, but it was truly like a Cinderella story. And her mother was so just with her daughter's look and their hair, so she thought of it as a punishment to have Keyshawn do their hair. It wasn't a punishment. So one Friday night, when Keyshawn should have been out doing something fun, she home getting her sisters ready for their pageant, and she burned one of them hair out. She just drifted off in thought, and the curling iron was too hot, and Mama went off, said all kind of things to her, and then told her she took her daughter's power, and you took what makes her beautiful. She said that out of her mouth, and that she shouldn't trust her with such a treasure. That's how she thought of them, but she thought of Keyshawn as nothing. And I know what that feels like, being a darker skinned female. I know what that feels like about being so with the hair, everything around here. So I really felt that. Also, you get to see the light skin dark thing play out when they get to school. Alicia is like the most popular, and because she's light. And then you see them at the table is Keyshawn, Gidget, and all of them talking. And Keyshawn is looking at Derek. So they kind of been flirting back and forth with each other. And finally, one day Keyshawn is walking home. It starts to rain. You know, she can't get that hair wet. And Derek picks her up, which now that I think about it, knowing him, he probably had been stalking her and had her schedule. He just magically shows up when it's raining, and he gave her a ride. So they went out to eat. And they're talking, getting to know each other a little bit better. He has a scholarship to Ole Miss, and Miss Patrice is a waitress, which I'm thinking you probably was taking care of Mercedes then. And she was like, that's all you gonna get. He can afford it. So we find out then that Derek comes from money. He has money. And he told Keyshawn where he would take her if he took her out on a date. And she kind of looks around the room and see there's nothing but black people around. I think she was kind of thinking like, no, that's okay. So she was like, just take me home. So as the girls are at home. I can't remember what they were doing. Oh, they asked the mom. They was decorating the Christmas tree and asked the mom, like, how did you meet dad, which is Keyshawn's dad? And she tells this beautiful story about she served him a drink. Apparently, she was a flight attendant, and she left out some details. And Keyshawn was pretty much like, well, did you tell them that you served my mama her drink first? So there you realize she cheated to get with Keyshawn's dad. So the mother decided to throw potatoes or something directly on Keyshawn. And Keyshawn pretty much threw something at her and went off on her. So that got her in a mess. And it was just awful, just the way she was treated at home. You can kind of see why she just gravitated to she just wanted somebody to love her and see her. She was very unseen at home. So the Christmas the mistletoe dance comes up, and Keyshawn's just over there clearing off the table. The girls are getting ready to go, and her dad made it home to see the girls off. And he even asked her, can you take the picture? Well, she notices in the picture he's holding Alicia very close, very tight, and he's kissing her on the forehead, trying to kiss on the forehead, and she's kind of like bristling up. So Keyshawn's looking at that. There's a knock at the door, and Derek shows up, dressed in shoes in hand. Keyshawn looks like a princess and the belle of the ball. But what was funny, musical choice, I'm in love with the Coco. It was so funny, but they had a beautiful night. So as they're out there just two-stepping and looking at each other's eyes, this woman keeps looking at them. And they were about to kiss, and that didn't happen. Come to find out, that was Derek's mama. See, Keyshawn they had two events, two mistletoes, the color toe and the other toe. Keyshawn went over there with the others. So I'm gonna have to stop it right there because YouTube caps the time on my videos. If you like this part of what you heard, like, share, and subscribe, and I will come back on with a part 2. Again, thank you for stopping by Steffi's World.